Hello, everyone. Thank you for jumping on. I'm running in normal fashion a few minutes later than typically planned. I'm going to grab my notebook really quickly while we wait for the moderator to join us. Thank you for waiting. Hello, Mr. No One. Anyway, thanks for waiting. If you are new here, you're just stumbling on the stream, I appreciate you checking us out. My name is Sarah. I am a depth quantum energy work practitioner, a mother of 4, and a woman who is so much more than just that, enjoying being in my multitudes, and I live in the middle of the US. So, depth quantum energy work practitioner means I offer a number of energy work modalities that focus on doing deeply nuanced and layered work within the self and all of the selves, as well as lots of cosmic, quantum, Akashic, and shamanic exploration. Some of the modalities that I offered and facilitate regularly include beyond quantum healing, which is a quantum hypnosis technique developed by Candace Craw-Goldman, who I have had the honor of learning from in direct transmission myself. It's related to QHHT for anybody who may be familiar with that method. Candace started herself with QHHT and saw a need for a modality that was a little bit more accessible and more fluid. I have enjoyed BQH both as client and practitioner, and I really, really recommend everybody checking it out. I do have a BQH playlist, and we'll be sharing more about a lot of my own sessions. BQH offers me the opportunity to bring forth in that modality the depth quantum clearing work that I facilitate very regularly in all of the other work that I do. So whereas certain techniques want the client to explore on their own, there's enough room in Beyond Quantum Healing for me to address deeply quantum clearing that needs to happen for the client's best outcome. So I'm not sure why that needed to be said, because I don't think I've spoken about BQH that much on one of our lives before. Wanted to share, though, I do have one BQH marketing session available. This is actually the last one that I am going to be offering. And then sessions are still going to be shared with permission. Session segments will be shared. However, there will not be any more marketing pricing available. It will just be the listed price. So if you are interested in connecting with me on Friday evening or Saturday during the day, for a Beyond Quantum Healing session at half the regular price, knowing that it will be shared or a portion of it will be shared online, feel free to reach out to me by email. Anyway, thank you guys for being here. One of the modalities that I spend the most time working with and actually living and breathing is the Akash. So I offer something that I call quantum Akashic readings, or quantum Akasha. The Akash is the primary substance. It is the Akash spirit. The name it offers to me when in communication and contact is Akash spirit. It is an aspect of the Godhead. It is one of the 3 in 1, 1 in 3, and is the holographic record of all things and no things and some things and everything that can or may or did or will or may not happen, but was within the potentiality of happening. I hope that makes sense. So it is a beautiful, massive part of our existence. We are all part of it. and I am a conduit stream for the True and Quantum Akash. A lot of Akashic work does not enter into the quantum multidimensionality of the human angelic. This is not because it's all about, I'm just going to say it's all about frequency bandwidth, vibrational resonance, essence, and initiation. So I have spent lots of time working and getting to a point in which I am able to clarify and refine, as long as the client can receive it, fairly in-depth information. So tonight, these intuitive live streams focus on messages from the Akashic records as an aspect of spirit. I offer once, sometimes twice a week, individual mini sessions that are streamed as part of this. I'll be doing one of those tonight. I did have two lined up originally, but one of the people actually decided to upgrade to a full private one-on-one session. So tonight I will be doing a mini session for the person who was given the number 2. And then number 1 is going to be done privately instead. And I'll also be offering whatever comes in after we complete the mini session. I'll be offering whatever would like to be shared and what's coming in for kind of the collective of awakening, consciousness exploration, spirituality, energetics. If for that group of people, as we seem to be helping to make a path of sovereignty and wholeness for and with everybody during this time. So that's what we're going to be doing. And right now I am going to continue setting the container, which always starts before I begin the stream. So I am going to be shifting into a slightly altered state of consciousness after I read our decree. And then I will be immediately going into a mini session for client number 1. So I'm really being guided to mention for anyone right now before I start this who's here or who happens upon this later or who catches the replay tonight or in the morning, that it's super important to accept and acknowledge what is for exactly what it is right now. And it is through acknowledging it that you are able to retrieve your power and essence from it, and then go through the necessary process of alchemy to transmute it or change it. You are not alone, and you do not have to do this alone. And I'm seeing the Akash wants me to know that somebody who's really being plagued by a massive hindrance and interference is going to be seeing this. And I need you to know that life doesn't have to be that way, and there is assistance. And please do feel free to check out my offerings. Please know that the reason you are feeling this way and the reason the targeting has been this intense is because of what you are here to do for both the world, but really especially your lineage. Oftentimes lineage chain breakers are very, very afflicted because there are systems in place that don't want us to get free and don't want your powerful line to return to vibrant, radiant health. And I see that that's what you're here to do. So that felt like a really important thing that needed to come through and be shared. So I'm just going to now jump right into my decree and then into the mini session. I decree and declare that this container is created, infused, and protected by the essence and light of Creator, Great Spirit, the holy and divine Mother, Father of the cosmos. I call in and thank with everlasting gratitude the Black Madonna, the dark Mother Goddess, the womb and tomb of all creation, the cosmic Mother, the Mari, the Mother of the Christ, who is indeed the Christed Feminine, and her Son, the solar impulse, and Yeshua as the living embodiment of the Spirit of the Christ. We thank you for your modeling of the way, which is the compassionate, awakened womb and heart. We thank all the ancestors, both past and future, of those present today for their space holding, support, and loving guidance. However, I firmly request that only ancestors who have come to a certain point in their evolutionary journey back to the wholeness of soul be allowed to participate, guide, and or direct this session in any way. We are here to activate and build upon the wisdom codes that are every cell of these bodies as we presently embody the sum total of all who came before us and all who will come after us. As such, in gentle yet firm declaration, all siphoning ancestral spirits that are confused or in distortion, all other disembodied humans who are not supposed to be on Earth realm, all trapped souls who are needing to reunite with their wholeness, other ghosts, spirits, or things that we do not have the proper name for or a proper definition of, all non-human intelligence and AI tracking that has been placed without conscious human consent for malevolent or neutral means, all demonic and or alien oppression, suppression, possession, walking in and out, and remote controlling of humanity, and all other implant monitoring devices and or attachments will be guided to the proper place in and out of time, space, and space-time for the neutralization of the energies that they are composed of during this session today. And now I'm just going to kind of sink in and seek guidance for tonight's client. And with humility, love, honor, and service, ask to access his part of the interconnected, organic weaving of consciousness that is the primary substance of the Akash itself. All right, that has been received. Oftentimes I am shown colors to open an Akashic session with. And I'm seeing lots of blue and green. I'm being told to compare the blue and the green, the way that they're appearing in my vision, to like kind of compare them to hail. It's like I'm seeing a hailing into your field of the frequency resonance of the true essence signature of blue and green. And this blue tells me it's working. This is working with your truth and your throat. However, what the phrase that's being offered is there's a double blind going on. Given what we've spoken about before, the Akasha is acknowledging a current challenge of coming into feeling the truth and how the resonance of truth feels deeply in the body, especially like in their bone marrow. Feel the truth in your bone marrow. You don't have to feel it in your mind. You're being called into a challenge of feeling it within the blood, the bones, the very cells. And that is the truth, not just the throat, though the throat is part of this. The blue would like you to feel this deeply in your body and then work on the expression of such truth through the throat with the voice. The green is related to devotional service from the heart, with, for, and through the mother impulse. This is a time of being called deeply into the remembrance of those impulses that you aspect, which very much include the solar Christed impulse. In fact, that's your primary aspecting, which is why you've experienced some of what you've experienced, is to be a carrier of the balance of yin and yang in a male body and living in deep devotional service to the mother creatrix impulse, which is what you are doing no matter what happens or how you exercise personal relationships. It is very important that it be noted that this calling to work with and be in service to the impulse of the mother of creation is your primary directive. And it is also your directive to live it out as an example of such for your children and the children of the world right now. Being securely grounded within the land, so with the land that you live on right now, is important. There is a need to focus conscious intent on building coherence from the heart. So right now, the current threshold of initiation for you, because you are very heart-led and very heart-centered, which is a beautiful, beautiful thing, but it's to be working to build heart-mind coherence. And then for you specifically, I'm seeing heart plexus. You're being specifically called into working with bringing these energies together and being able to differentiate some of the solar plexus delineations from the heart. And these are specific parts of the threshold of initiation that you're walking through. I am going to share that I feel that there is some upheaval happening. I don't think that it's bad. I think that what the Akasha is showing me is that these are very necessary life changes to live in your highest alignment, your highest and best, most expanded and evolving alignment. Right now, as you navigate these changes, it is the primary focus is being the center of stability for you and your family. Allowing yourself any reparenting that you may need is also of the utmost importance as you navigate these changes. Being reserved, not in a cold way, but in a way that you are evaluating who and what is a reasonable investment as far as time and energy goes. Your daughter is very prevalent within your Akashic record. I am not sure if this is a child that is already here on Earth with you, or if this is a potential future child. She is 4. She wants me to share that she's showing herself to me as a 4-year-old, while also acknowledging that we are all infinite, ancient, amazing souls. So I'm seeing both like this aspect of soul in its fullness and as a 4-year-old child. There is a really, 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 really important life plan, purpose, and incarnation agreement that you have with this soul. She, along with the polar bear, I guess we have like an archetypal polar bear energy that's present in your Akashic record right now, would like for me to mention that we have many soulmates and different individuals that in quantum variations and iterations of our lives, we have things that we come here to do together. And this daughter or potential daughter energy that's in your Akash right now, you and her have a very, very deep and profound connection. And there is much magic that this connection can facilitate. This is a soulmate connection. This is a soul family. In fact, we could go so far as to say, some might say this is a divine counterpart, because a divine counterpart does not necessarily mean a romantic relationship or life partner. I believe we can have many of those. And I have a connection with my daughter like that. So that is really, really important. There is much purple energy associated with this connection. You are one of the key points on this soul's path to sovereignty, and will be expanding sovereignty for for her. I feel like the Akash would like to recommend feeling into the egregore of work. It feels to me like there are potential career changes that you're already feeling led to consider. And you'll always be walking that line between like how to be most sincere and true to yourself while supporting the people that you're helping to support, of course. I feel that. I see that in you. I honor your devotion. I see the devotion and the commitment that you've made, and so does the Akash and your like loved ones or soul connections in the Akash. I want to share that there are going to be many different opportunities if you look for them. Some will present themselves, some you will have to look for. Within the next 6 months, there are going to be quite a few potential changes that you can feel into, that you can investigate, that are going to really potentially spice things up as far as like your fulfillment or your creativity. You need to be writing, whether that has anything to do with any of the work that you do, like for a job. You need to be writing. This is paramount, whether that's journaling, some kind of automatic writing, poetry, prose. The Akash would like me to share that you have a story in you. There's a story in you that has been waiting to be told since you were 10 or 11 years old. And writing is important. So is sound. I think we've talked about this. I've talked to several people about this lately. Work with your voice, which is more of the blue. So the blue energy is really like truth, throat. The green was an initiate. You're being offered more initiation into service, service and alignment and stewarding for the mother impulse. But the Akash would like to mention that it's necessary that you do a little bit more clearing of the space, the residential space. Whether this is a sound could be used here. I am getting that if possible, the preference would be some smoke cleansing. I know that's not possible everywhere, but go ahead and feel into that. And there is one particular room in the house that needs some attention. Limiting device time for those in the residence is important. Not to be mean, I'm reading the energy of the home, and the home or the space, the residence has opened up some of its information as far as the Akash goes, and the vibrational resonance has been thrown off a little bit by alignments that are being invited in through the internet. The Akash is showing me also giraffe is now in your Akash. So you've had polar bear, like archetypal energy, and now giraffe. And when giraffe shows up, just so you know, for me in my shamanic and Akashic and quantum work, giraffe is actually kind of a secondary power animal that I work with myself. And giraffe typically has on big cartoon glasses. And this was to really get my attention the first time that I connected with this energy. And what giraffe stands for is similar sometimes to what some of like sort of the bird's eye view energy is, if you will. So zoomed out, much taller, able to view a situation um, from multiple perspectives and hold the nuance and the tension of two or more opposing things all being true. So the tension of paradox, understanding different perspectives, that's coming up as a big theme that is presenting for you. And Giraffe would like me to tell you that you can love from a distance, and you can love better when you are honoring and respecting your own boundaries and parameters. And writing is going to help you establish those, is what it feels like to me right now. So connecting with these animal archetypes, I do feel like a BQH or some kind of a similar modality would be appropriate for you at some point. There are 3 to 4 fairly close timeline existences that you're having some convergence, not quite enmeshment. I feel like neither of those words are quite right, but there's some blending or some bleed through that's happening. And I think that there's also some important recall for you that's going to offer some information kind of in the vein of like being a puzzle piece. I hope if that makes sense, like a puzzle piece would. You already live in service and humility. I don't see that changing. In fact, what the Akash, and by the way, I want to tell you there are lots of blue energy. I feel when I'm there or looking, it feels like kind of like a blue, maybe like a blue topaz, is sort of the energy signature that I'm feeling there. So I offer that to you. But what they're wanting me to tell you is that you are in alignment. You are on your path. You are a heart-centered, heart-led, beautiful, expansive soul. And it's time to step a little bit more fully as you continue to work through the layers of clearing and growth and evolution. Step a little bit more fully into the confidence that you're being asked to carry as a member of the solar masculine collective. Again, this isn't conceit. It's not being full of yourself, and it is never, ever minimizing or diminishing the lunar, the feminine, the yin, not at all. But knowing that you have a place here and that you are valued and that what you're doing is making a difference, even if it's just in a small way. Not everything is, going viral or changing 5,000 lives or 50,000 lives or impacting several million people, but instead, like I'm seeing, you coming into the confidence of yourself, the heart, your own calling, your own power. And then that, as we do that for the self, it ripples out into the world around us in such amazing ways. And this is how we shift back to ancient future Tara Earth. This is how we go back. This is how we traverse timelines. This is how we clear the timelines through all of the time work that me and others do, is by taking radical accountability for the self, responsibility, coming into such authenticity and love that the work we do on the self magnifies and amplifies out into the world, and we magnetize that kind of desire to change and to remember into wholeness for others. And so that's coming up like super, super prominently for you. So I hope that's helpful. Um, Continuing to make sure that you're making some time for yourself. Um, and again, I don't know personally how these things may show up in your life, but what the loved ones and the energies in the Akash right now are saying is, please make some time that is calming to the nervous system while also being healthy and nurturing, nourishing, and productive. And one thing they don't want is they don't want all of the time you take to yourself to be like completely numbed out to TV or completely um completely lost in some meaningless sports game. uh there's a few other examples, but you get the drift. Time that is resetting and relaxing fully into the self, working with the electric nature within you, coming into feeling the way you can move and direct that energy, really working with feeling the energy in your hands. And then as you think about, as you continue kind of your process of initiation and awakening, I am seeing certain modalities open up for you that you could feel into down the road or now. Um, Normally, I would say Reiki, quantum touch is coming up as pretty significant. Pranic healing is another one. Things like that, even massage, craniosacral, visceral manipulation. It feels like you have many healing gifts to offer the world. Please offer them to yourself first. So let me see. Is there anything else for this client for this mini Akashic portion? It is in releasing others, releasing into forgiveness, that you will receive the peace that you're seeking. I will offer that the closing word has to do with mother wounding, whether that is your mother or kind of a lineage or collective thing. It's coming up within your masculine template, that part of the work that you're doing right now or that's being requested of you is moving through and clearing for the collective or for your line some really like deep, like this isn't something that's on the surface, but like deep pain that's been layered over and suppressed, and potentially it may even be showing up in your body as a heart wall. So that's sort of what's coming up for you energetically. The Akash wants me to remind you that you're never too late, you're always on time. And the Akash wants me to remind you that you are on your path and there are no actual missteps. Everyone misses the mark sometime, but we don't miss the path. because every offshoot, every detour that we take is a learning experience that is for our highest good. It can be for our growth. We can transform and catalyze using anything. And it is through this knowledge that we are able to come more fully and wholly into the sovereign self, which is what you are in the process of doing. Embrace the changes as they come without rigid control. What's been coming up lately as a collective theme that I may touch on a bit more in a few minutes is a tendency for people, when they're feeling overstimulated or as though they're at capacity, to immediately go into a mode of defensiveness instead of curiosity. So as the changes present, or as you embark upon some evolution and the changes that come with it, it's being encouraged that you reach for curiosity and comprehension, understanding, and compassion instead of any kind of defensiveness, and that those close to you do the same. So one thing that I would say I'm sensing is that as you go about your changes, sometimes people that are close to us may feel a little uncertain, may feel a little bit uncertain about some of those changes. So if you are having defensiveness dished out to you, I would offer that you can alchemize that in deep love and care as you go about writing and considering and feeling deep in the bones and in the blood and in the heart what your boundaries and parameters are supposed to be. So with that, we're just going to thank everybody who participated, these energies, this beautiful blue topaz Akashic chamber, polar bear, giraffe, clients' expanded selves, the lineages, the loved ones. Thank you so much. We appreciate your support and being here. Thank you, green and blue. Thank you, Mother. All right. With that, I'm going to say that I am bringing my consciousness away out of that space because, well, I've spoken at length about the records are closed or the records are open and how the Akasha is part of everything. Ethics in energy work are of the utmost to me, and I do not access without energetic consent and conscious consent. However, the whole idea of something being open or closed in this case is a misnomer. It's incorrect. I understand why it's been taught that way, but it simply isn't accurate because we are part of the Akasha and it is part of us. And instead, we bring our consciousness back to the self, and we are no longer focusing on, I'm no longer focusing on that, the interweaving connectedness of love that is the Akash as relates to that person. So in case anyone was curious, that's how I do that. So now I'm just going to talk for a couple of minutes about what came up during that session as a collective theme that I am seeing a lot of right now. And that is a tendency for people who are maybe they're feeling tired. Maybe they are feeling like they're not able to show up in fullness right now. But there's a tendency that I've noticed personally, but then also within my private practice, for people to be pretty quickly getting into a state of defensiveness. And I would offer that I have lived as the young woman who used to get defensive about everything. And I had good reason. Like, I mean, I'm not saying that there's never any reason to go into that energy. However, when defensiveness becomes the default instead of a desire to connect, communicate with compassion, and come into a comprehension of the other person or the other system, whatever the other system's ideas or perspective or beliefs, and even the deep knowing of another person. I'm seeing that there's been a lot of miscommunication that then is leading to some heartache, and some sadness that I've been helping clients move through. I'm just being guided to mention again that polarity is fun and all when it is consensual and within the confines or the bound, like a boundary container, and that outside of that specificity, we are human before we are gender, and we are one another reversed. And I keep seeing that the hierarchy of needs, or the hierarchy of emotional needs that we desire to have others meet, is the same. We may go about it differently. We may go about like seeking connection or seeking to have those things filled or met differently, but the thing that we are seeking is love from others and connection, and holding this in the forefront is important. We are human before we are gendered, and to look at others first as humans is a recurring theme that has been coming up both in my own intuitive work, such as in some of the recent my own BQH segments that I've shared. It's been coming up in client work. It has been coming up as a message for the deeply holy and alchemical container that we are seeing some women initiate into very ahead of the curve, or ahead of the majority, and feeling at times some deep loneliness because it seems like there's an inability to be met in that, which is an energy that I have experienced, that I know others are familiar with as well. And so that's been coming up a lot, to continue the expansion and to know that times of contraction can happen because we are human and we expand and contract. And often, I guess I'm being led to tell you that even if you feel like you're in a contraction time, you might be couch locked all weekend, but what's going on inside you is massive expansion. These things mirror one another very much. What else is a collective energy I'm feeling guided to talk about? If you are still participating in the parasitic political nature of things, there is an opportunity for you to transcend and come into your own governance. And this is important. This is very, very important. For those of us here in the United States, it is really, really important to come into an understanding. There are not two sides. There are not three sides. There are not four sides. They are one side, and we, the organic and souled angelic human reality here in this holograph, are another. It is very, very important if we are to avert the timelines I've spoken about in prior lives and BQH sessions. If we are to avert those, some of which we have already time corrected, course corrected, the collective of humanity needs to move through certain massive collective initiations, thresholds, portals, in order to come into a well, I guess they're using the word, I'm being offered the word threshold again. There's a threshold of experience and comprehension that has to be present in order for certain goalposts to be met. And ultimately, we are here to be, and here we are being, but we're also here to perform massive soul retrieval, as I've spoken about at length here since I've started doing these lives. And that is really one of the tenets of my work, is I am here to help you remember your sovereign self, to retrieve and become all that you always have been, who you really are, and to waymake a path of wholeness and sovereignty for each person that I am honored to assist on this journey. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you to my client who jumped on to do this tonight. Like I said earlier, I do have one marketing promo rate BQH session available. This will be the last one of those. And otherwise, if you'd like to book with me, you can check out my scheduling page, stan.store/Sarah Descending. If you would like to connect with me on socials, I am pretty much on all of them. I am most active on Twitter. Find me on my main account at Sarah Descending. I'm also on Instagram. That'll lead you to my Facebook. I don't prefer Meta. I'm getting more active on Substack. So thank you again for being here. I hope that this transmission landed exactly as the divine intended for you. And I will be live again here on either Friday or Saturday evening, to be determined, and will be announced. So probably Friday, but perhaps on Saturday. And I'm also planning a small group offer that will be open to the public for either this Saturday or next. This will be held on Zoom. It will be kind of a small group transmission, so a short talk, and then some energy work and intuitive guidance, space holding. That will be, there's typically a sliding scale with a minimum to come to that. So if you're interested in that, do keep your eyes open. I will post that on Twitter. I will post it here on the community part when we decide. And again, have a wonderful night or morning or afternoon, and I will talk to you soon. Bye, guys.